everyone. I just finished filming the previous vlog and now we're going to be starting the next one. So this is going to be a little bit different. We are going to be doing another time crunch kind of video, except it's not going to be with books. It's going to be for my puzzle. The current puzzle that I'm working on is a pirate ship battle puzzle, and I've actually started it almost a month ago and I think I am almost done with it, but it's more like the pieces that you kind of have to guess and choose and hope it fits, because I've already finished the ships, I've already finished the squid octopus legs, and now the rest is just sky and water and the sails, because there's 2 ships and 2 sails obviously, so I need to find a way to separate those. But let me go ahead and show you the progress on the puzzle so far. So this is where we're at. As you can see, water, sky, I think this is more sky and water, and then here is supposed to be the sails, and then sails here. And then I try to separate them all by color, but the colors just aren't working. So right now I started working on this morning. So I put those 4 pieces in because I'm kind of just taking all these water pieces, and there are still more pieces in the box. And even though my main focus will be the puzzle, this will still be a reading vlog. The book for this week is going to be Emily Henry's newest book, The Great Big Beautiful, I believe it's called. I don't have the physical book with me. It is one that I am borrowing on Libby. I believe I have 12 days to read it, which is plenty of time. I could probably knock it out by the end of the week. That is the plan. So I'm thinking that we are going to keep this video going until that puzzle is finished. I really want to get this off the coffee table so we can actually use the coffee table for what it was meant to be used for. Because right now we literally can't do anything with it because my puzzle obviously took up the space of the coffee table. And then we also have a picture frame that we got from Goodwill for I think 10 bucks. So I'm gonna put the pirate puzzle in after Mod Podging it and make sure it's like stiff and glued together, frame it, and then it's gonna go in my nook room as added decoration. So let's get this reading vlog / puzzle vlog going. Not to mention, but I'm also still watching the Phineas and Ferb loops of season 1 on YouTube. So here it is, and then I'll be working on my puzzle with it. Hello, good morning. It is the next morning and I have made some progress on Emily Henry's The Great Big Beautiful Life. The Big Great Beautiful Life. I'm gonna put the picture on the screen. I am currently 6% of the way in. So we're following our 2 main characters. Right now it's Alice and Hayden, and they are both competing to get the opportunity to write this famous Margaret person's biography. Apparently she disappeared 20 years ago. No one knows what happened to her. They found her and now they're like, we want to write your biography. And so if you don't already know my history with Emily Henry, I have so far read Happy Place and Beach Read. I gave Happy Place a 4 out of 5 stars, but I didn't really like how heavily it talked about grief during a breakup process, and it was kind of just really whiny and really weird. Like, it's just a bad communication problem between the couple. And then Beach Read was Emily Henry writing about writer's block while she was in writer's block. And I actually didn't know that at the time while I was reading the book, but then once I got through it and I read the author's note, I was like, that makes so much more sense. Because Beach Read made absolutely no sense. It was so all over the place. There were so many random characters that were barely brought up, and it was too insta-lovey. It was more like love because of proximity, and I did not like it. But in this book, I think it's going to be different. I really hope there's not really any kind of grief or mental health idea going on, but knowing it's about Margaret's life and the fact that she disappeared after her husband died, it might be grieving and mental health kind of thing for why she disappeared. So now I'm not sure. So far, Emily Henry, she's not my favorite author, but I'm trying again. This is her newest book. Maybe this book will be it where I'm like, okay, I understand the hype now. Right now, we're in the clear. Right now we are fine. I just want to give a little bit of background information of how I feel about Emily Henry. If I also do not like this book, I think I'm just gonna quit. I'm not even gonna try Funny Story. I'm not even gonna try Book Lovers. Although my coworkers did tell me that Book Lovers might not have so much mental health. That might be her most tame book. So maybe I'll try Book Lovers. We'll see. We'll see. So we're 6% in. Let's continue the reading vlog. Here's an update of the puzzle so far. I finished the bottom. So like there's not any more water pieces over here. I mean, there might be one more because I'm still missing that one. I think that's the last water piece. Maybe that one. So far, looking good. We can definitely tell the water is complete in the boat. So now it's just the rest of the sails, and then the sky. I really hope these are all the pieces that are left. If I had lost any, they shouldn't have gone very far. They're somewhere on the floor here. Yay! Yay! And I am still watching Phineas and Ferb. It's also not the same day as the previous clip of me working on this puzzle. I'm obviously in a different shirt, but now it's time for me to get ready for work and we will continue this puzzle tomorrow. So I am 26% of the way through The Big, Great, Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I just got to the part where romantic feelings have officially been exposed between the two, but it's more of a physical attraction than an actual romantic feelings attraction to each other. And I did check, I'm about 100 pages in, and I'm just thinking, why is this even happening right now? I do not feel the chemistry between them whatsoever. I think this love story is so random because Emily Henry has written our main male actor or character as someone who is very standoffish, very quite rude, arrogant, and full of himself. Whereas Alice, on the other hand, is just someone who's trying to pick at his button, get into his life, learn more about him, and I guess just making a friend. Because there was no signs of romance whatsoever until like right before they kissed for the first time. And all of a sudden she's like, oh, he's kind of handsome, looking at him on the other side of the booth. And I think it's just so weird and so random. And you already know I'm not the greatest fan of Emily Henry books so far. And I don't even know why I'm trying this book, but I am, because maybe it'll be different. And right now I'm thinking I still don't like her writing. I could just be biased. I need to just give her a break, read the book, and enjoy it while I can. But before I move on and continue reading, I just want to say that this book reminds me of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because in that book as well, it's this journalist writer trying to write the biography of this celebrity who disappeared for however many years. And then we get the different insights of her background, where she came from, her 7 husbands obviously, and like how this all came out to be and where she ended up in the end. Whereas this book, Emily Henry's book, it follows 2 people trying to secure the place to write the biography of Margaret Ives. And I guess on the side, those 2 that are trying to fight for that position to be the one to write the biography are also going to fall in love and have a romantic relationship with each other. And then I guess even discover Margaret Ives' secrets together and then share information in the end, potentially. That's what I'm predicting. So it's similar to The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but different. And this one's also more summery, beachy, versus The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is like in the middle of a big city in her high-rise apartment. That is my current thoughts of where I am in the book. So far, I'm like not really, I can't say I'm enjoying it, but it's not bad either. I'm just kind of waiting for something else to happen. This romance is just not it. No chemistry, I'm not feeling it. Good morning, it is Friday morning now, and I just want to give a little update on where I'm at in Emily Henry's The Great, Big, Beautiful Life. I'm currently 65% of the way through the book, and I don't know what chapter I'm on. Chapter 25. And I just got to the point where she invited Hayden to her mom's house. Like she was gonna go visit her mom, and Hayden happened to be with her at the time when she was talking about it, so she's like, you wanna come? And he came. But then this trip turned into them getting to know each other more, them opening up about each other's past traumas, and I'm just thinking it's so random. But I felt this way with every single Emily Henry book that I've read so far. Also, sorry if I'm talking weird. I burned my tongue last weekend or irritated either with spicy food or a mouth rinse or something, or like a hot pizza, and now my tongue really hurts to talk, so bear with me. But anyway, they started talking about like how they grew up, their parents expecting something from them, but they're not able to fulfill fulfill that duty, or I guess life outcome, like their parents wanted them to go a certain route in their career, but they chose something else for their personal gains. And I really thought this book was going to be better. I thought it was going to go more into Margaret Ives and her telling her story, but I think it's just me being biased because of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because in that book it focused mostly on Evelyn Hugo and her story. That was it, and I didn't really learn anything, not too much about the interviewer journalist, our main character, besides Evelyn Hugo. And so that's probably just my bad, but it's just so random. And I feel like Emily Henry is trying to get us to learn about Margaret Ives, but also learn about Hayden and also learn about Alice, but I think that's just too much going on in one book. And this is a complaint that I had in her other books as well, to where she puts in grief and trauma into her storylines for her main characters, and I personally do not like it. I think it takes away from the main story. I think she's too focused on characters, and I guess that's just my preference for how books are written. I'm more invested in the story versus the characters. The characters being good is kind of just like a bonus to the story, but these characters in this book, I personally do not care about them whatsoever. I am most interested in Margaret Ives and how she grew up to tell her biography, and not so much Alice and Hayden. They're kind of just people that are there to listen to her story, and now I'm learning about them, and I do not care. And it kind of makes me think that this book didn't need to be a 400-page book if Emily Henry had just cut out Alice and Hayden's side characters. I mean, I'm okay with it being brief, but we're getting like pages and pages of just Hayden and Alice either saying, oh, I love you, I'm attracted to you, but we can't have anything happen because if I get the job and you don't, you're gonna hate me and our relationship's gonna be doomed, and all this stuff. And I'm like, either make a decision, choose to love each other, or just don't even talk to each other. And right now they're like a back and forth, like, I love you, no, we can't be together, I love you, no, we can't be together. And I'm just so tired of it. But I do have like one thing that I wish she had done. I wish she had given us Hayden's perspective, because I feel like if she wanted us to understand the characters, I need more point of views than just Alice. Because right now, being Alice and seeing only her perspective for Margaret Ives and Hayden, it's just not enough. So I feel like her putting in Hayden's point of view instead of all this fluff of seeing the relationship between Hayden and Alice bloom. Like, I need more angles if she's gonna put all of this stuff into one book, you know? Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm going to continue another Emily Henry book, because this book started off really well, going to Margaret Ives' story, but then as soon as she started trying to get Alice and Hayden together, and them having their own story where they just talk about each other and their own traumas, it's just like, never mind, we've lost focus. And I guess I can understand why other people would like her books, because she talks about the trauma and the grief of their past, but that's just not the kind of books that I like to read. I think it's too much like real life, and the whole point of me reading this fiction books is so that way I can get out of real life, and reading about things that happen in real life is not helping. So I need more dragons and fighting and swords. That is my 2 cents. Let's get back to reading. Also, update on my puzzle. Look at the progress that we're making. I'm literally almost done. I probably could just finish it right now, but I'm at the point where I'm thinking I should wait for Jamie and we can do it together. I'm sure he'd be really happy if I waited for him. So yeah, look at that. We're almost done. Wow, it's looking so good. Good morning. It is the last day that we're going to be working on this puzzle. We're going to finish this right now and then go on a morning walk. How many pieces do you think there are? Okay.
12.
Let's see.
15.
4, 8, 12. Wow, good job. Okay. Can you believe I'm almost done? I could have just finished it yesterday, but I waited for you.
Why would you do that?
In case you wanted to help me. Oh no, we're going to finish this really fast, aren't we? Oh no. Uh-oh, they don't go there. Are these people?
I done 2 already.
I did 2 already.
No. You're hiding them, I can't see. Oh, you're hiding. You're all in the way.
Here it is. The last piece. What if I don't want to? And just leave it unfinished? So then it's never really done. You know, it was really intimidating. Well, like all of this was empty and all this was empty and all this was empty. But I did it. There's a lot of guessing down here. A lot of guessing up here. Although I did like have the smoke to help me out. Definitely a lot of guessing here. That was weird. And also, I thought the sky and the water would be the hardest, but the sails were actually the hardest because there's 2 boats on this picture. Okay, here it is. Oh. Well, that's it. That's our puzzle. Show me the puzzle. Da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. So here's the box. Doesn't it look so cool? So now I just need to Mod Podge it, and then we're gonna put it back into the frame that we have by the map. All done. Wow. So I have officially finished The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and we're gonna talk about the entire experience I had with the book while also Mod Podging my pirate puzzle. I've already got 2 layers of Mod Podge on it. I did it yesterday, but now we are going to try and Mod Podge the back, so that way the back also is secure. So I put aluminum foil underneath so that way it wouldn't stick to the table, and a good thing I did because it definitely stuck to the aluminum foil. Oh no, it's breaking. Okay, so, oh, that one's not even down. Crap. Oh no. Okay. Oh no. You are not secure whatsoever. Okay. I think you're looking at it upside down right now. Ooh. Alrighty. Man, maybe I should have Mod Podged the front side with you washing so that way it looked better, but now you're just gonna be washing the Mod Podge the back. Oh well. So this is the one I'm using, Mod Podge Matte. There is a glossy one, but I didn't want it to look glossy, and I have not complained about any of my other puzzles so far that I Mod Podge, so this is perfect. So Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life is about these 2 writers who are trying to win over this previous millionaire, billionaire, whatever you want to call her. She's from a very, very rich family. It was just like passed down riches. What's it called? Old money. She's from an old money family that became rich from mines and like selling the gold or diamonds or whatever rocks they found in the mines. Anyway, these 2 writers are trying to go against each other, get all the information they can from her, and they have to sell her a pitch and convince her why they should be the one to write her biography or memoir before she is too old to remember and all this stuff. And so throughout the book, we go through how Alice and Hayden, the writers, are battling their own personal mental health, whatever, with their past and their families, while also learning about Margaret Ives, the millionaire's life. So it's kind of a story within a story kind of book, because while they're interviewing her to create their pitch for why they should write her memoir, she's telling them the story all the way back from like the past 3 generations, like a great-great-grandfather. And so I actually liked Margaret Ives' story the most, which I'm glad was the main topic of the book. And then Alice and Hayden have some kind of love going on, some interest relationship going on outside, but they're kind of like a no, we shouldn't date because we're about to take each other's jobs away. If I get it, you're gonna hate me. If you get it, I'm gonna hate you, kind of thing. And so it's just a lot of whining, wishy-washy, can't figure out what they want. So overall, I gave the book a 4 out of 5 stars because I like the way that Emily Henry wrote Margaret Ives' story, but still incorporated everyday life, because she's still see the little experiences that Alice has with Margaret while she's telling her story. Like they go out to the garden, they drink tea, there's like Jody, the housemaid that lives in the house with her, but you don't get Hayden's point of view. And I really think if we had gone a little bit of Hayden's point of view, I think the story would have been stronger for me, because the one thing that I did not like about this book, hence the reason why it's 4 out of 5 stars and not 5 out of 5 stars, is because the interest that all of a sudden came from Hayden towards Alice was very random. Because Hayden is the kind of person that is very standoffish, he's kind of monotone. That's at least how I imagined him while reading his lines and character appearances. He's not very boring person, but he keeps to himself a lot. And then suddenly Alice talks to him because she's like trying to be intimidating, because he is in the running for the role that she really, really wants. And so she's like, let me just get to know you, just for the fun of it, because we're gonna be stuck here for a month to try and win this old lady over. And I guess for some reason that means Hayden suddenly likes her and is falling in love with her because she's all up in his business. It was so random, because like he did not care about anyone until she started talking to him. So it was kind of like an insta-love thing, and I don't really like insta-love. It has to be done a certain way, and I can't really explain it, but this book did not do it. And I really think if we had Hayden's point of view and knew what he was thinking for him to like her so much just from her interacting with him, it would have made more sense for me, and I would have liked the insta-love a little more. Or maybe if there was more bickering, because there's barely any bickering between Hayden and Alice. It was more like Alice talking to him and him just giving her like 1 or 2 word answers and like telling her, no, I'm not gonna tell you anything because I know you're gonna try and use it against me to get this job away from me. So at first he really wanted the job, and of course she really wants the job in general, and so that's why he was standoffish in the beginning. And then I thought about halfway through I wasn't gonna like the book because of that, because of how I didn't like Alice and Hayden's characters. But then as I read more of Margaret Ives' story, it was interesting. But Margaret Ives telling her memoir is really just an old lady telling her family history, which is what we were expecting, so it was good and very interesting as well. And then we get to the end and there's like a major plot twist. I think it's called a plot twist, and then that's when I was like, wow, I think I really will give this a 4 out of 5. Like compared to Beach Read and Happy Place, this is really good. And it wasn't too heavy on the mental health, it wasn't too heavy on the family history trauma of our 2 main characters, Alice and Hayden. With Margaret Ives, I understand, because the whole point of the book is her telling her family history. But then there was a point in the book where Alice and Hayden would start talking about their own family history traumas, but it was so random. Like they're just at Alice's mom's house, they're going on a walk or like sitting out on a bench or something, and all of a sudden Hayden's like, oh, by the way, my mom's kind of got all these like mental health issues because she grew up in the spotlight, she doesn't know what she's doing, she's kind of depressed, blah blah blah. And I'm just thinking, why did you bring this up? You're having a really nice moment right now. Like I know Alice said she wanted to get to know you, but like why are you talking about your mom? It's so weird. But anyway, obviously whenever the book ended, everything kind of came together and made sense. So there weren't any random details, because if you didn't see my review for Beach Read, I did not like Beach Read. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, and a 3 out of 5 stars was already me being generous, because Emily Henry was writing about writer's block and she kept putting random details that did not matter for the end of the book, at least in my opinion. So after reading The Great Big Beautiful Life and everything actually making sense and all the details make sense, I can definitely tell that Emily Henry actually like knew what she was doing with this book, and so I liked it more. And I can honestly say I might either put it up there with Happy Place, or it might even be better than Happy Place. I'm trying to think like which would I would rather read if I had to, and I kind of feel like I would probably prefer to read Happy Place more because there's not a plot twist in Happy Place, but The Great Big Beautiful Life has more to it for me to have fun with, I guess. Like Happy Place was just more of the whining, like, oh, we shouldn't be together because blah 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 blah, my past, my family, blah blah blah, versus I would read this book again to reread Margaret Ives' family history again with her great grandparents, her grandparents, and then her parents, and then down to her. Yeah. So I guess that is my review of the book. Would I recommend it? Out of all the Emily Henry books I've read so far, which is only 3, I would say it was probably one of the best ones out of the 3. And this book was going to determine whether I would read another Emily Henry book or not. Because if I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars again, like I did Beach Read, then I was not going to attempt to read anything else. Because there's also still Funny Story, Book Lovers, Something About Summer, and I thought I wasn't going to be an Emily Henry fan person. I'm kind of still not a fan of hers because she hasn't really sold me on her writing yet, but now that I've read The Great Big Beautiful Life, I will attempt to read Book Lovers and Funny Story. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got an insight of how I feel about The Great Big Beautiful Life and helps you decide on whether you should read it or not. And I would say give it a try. If you're trying to also get into Emily Henry with me, like me, then The Great Big Beautiful Life is a good one to start with. Unless you've already read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, then you might feel like she's copying that concept, which she very well could have gotten inspiration from it, but do what you want, I guess. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna finish Mod Podging my puzzle, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!